This is Phil Mendenhall. I'm your host at Wild Resources. I'm going to show you how to harvest turnips. This is about almost the middle of December here, and I'm in the hoop house. We sell our turnips and we eat them. I just wanted to show you how we harvest them. It's pretty simple. So if you like what we're showing, help us out here, subscribe. Tell your friends about this. If you subscribe, it really helps me keep doing these videos and help pay for the equipment and everything. Usually turnips can be planted in the spring or the fall. These were later turnips. They were probably planted in August. They've been growing ever since, but we had a horrible drought here in southern Illinois. Hardly anything grew. I had to just keep watering and watering these plants. We got them to come through, and here it is, middle of December, and we're harvesting this crop still. Still got some out in the other garden, but I'll show you how we do it. All right. First off, you can kind of see some of the bigger turnips. They need to be thinned out. Let these little guys have a break. Give them more room to grow. So I've already harvested some in here. I'm gonna keep looking for some more.
Some more what?
I don't know how many we're gonna get orders for this week. Here's a nice one right here. Yeah, look at that big guy. That's a dandy. And the greens can definitely be eaten also on these. We do sell some turnip greens, mostly mixed greens. Oh, here's another monster. Oh. Shake all the dirt off as much as possible. Then what I usually do, another nice one here, is I'll go wash them off with the hose. We're supposed to have another freeze tonight. It's supposed to get down to like 31. These will all do pretty well. But while I'm here, I'm gonna cover these with row covers. These are real lightweight blankets, if you will. And it helps keep everything a little bit warmer than the outside. And surprisingly enough, you just can't believe what a small little thing like this can do to help the plants continue to grow all winter. Those turnips will continue to grow as long as they've got some leaves on them. This one's double covered. Really doesn't need to be, but it just helps it a little bit more. And these are radishes in here that I'm covering up. These were planted, oh gosh, probably about maybe a month ago. And we should get radishes as long as the weather doesn't get super cold. It's supposed to get some pretty cold snaps coming up here. And I want to make sure I've got these covered a little bit so that they're protected. I keep all these old landscape timbers. I used them for my fencing for my blackberries, and they started rotting out at the bottoms. Didn't want to waste them. Figured they'd be good for something. And lo and behold, they came in real handy. And I use them to hold these row covers down. And they do a great job, so why get rid of stuff and buy new stuff if you don't need to? I always say. So I'll cover up this lettuce. I got romaine lettuce here. It's looking really good. It's just continues to keep growing here in the winter. And it's more susceptible to the cold than some of these other vegetables are down here. Lettuce is still pretty hardy, but there's only so much it can take of the cold. So whenever I can cover it up and it's going to be below freezing, I like to protect everything as long as I can. So there we go. We're supposed to start getting a lot more rain again too, which is kind of crazy. It's just been raining. We don't get a lot. The rain just keeps coming now, but it's a real slow soaking rain. which is good for everything. It doesn't just run off and erode everything. It just keeps it all good and wet. And these are the carrots up here. We'll cover them. They could probably make it through the winter, but it just stresses them out a whole lot less when you got them covered. I use old logs from our firewood. Let's bring a bunch extra down here to hold this in place. Got plenty of firewood, so it doesn't hurt to have all this around. All right. Put some of these old electric fence posts on there. Probably need to cover up all these beets. They're looking pretty puny. But we had sunlight the other day for a little bit. It was wonderful. We want these to get as much sun as they can. So we just cover them up when it's going to get nasty. And keep going from there. Garlic. All this garlic really doesn't need to be covered. It doesn't make much difference with it. I plant that in the fall. You can even plant it in the spring, but if you plant it in the fall, it gets a lot of growth on it and helps the plants continue. Here's some bunching onions right here and more romaine, which I'm going to cover up. We just uncovered this a couple days ago. I was hoping we wouldn't have to cover it up for a long time, but these beets, this arugula, some of this romaine's getting close to being ready to pick. It's amazing when you're growing organic vegetables. When you get close to this lettuce, you can see some stuff that's wrong with it. Some of the leaves been burnt. It may not make it. If you take a couple dollars worth of seeds and you plant them, you get $350 a plant out of 100 plants. That's $350. Of course, you're taxed on it and everything else, so it doesn't come out to exactly $350 even if they all survive. You're pretty lucky. And there's a lot of care. There's a lot of weeding, a lot of watering. You know, mounding these hills up took a lot of time. There's just a lot of time involved in farming vegetables. Most people don't realize how much time is put into all this stuff. Just making these hills is a real pain. I mean, I till everything up, then I come by with a big stone rake and rake them into hills that are about 2.5, 3 feet wide. And then I've transplanted all my plants into them. A lot of work transplanting and putting down manure. And lime, you need to lime your soil. That's what you may be seeing here, a lot of lime that I put on here. I just get agricultural lime. It's like little tiny pellets. It works great. And it neutralizes your soil if your soil's acidic. It helps everything grow much better. Alright, gotta put something down on this. There's a little spinach plant somebody stomped on there. Must have been the wife. It couldn't have been me. Oh, but she's gone, and I'm doing all the work, so I can say what I like. No, she's a sweetheart. Works her tail off on our farm, and it's really helped out. We both retired. She worked with individuals with disabilities for years and years and ran a camp for folks like that. Really an incredible program. I worked there as a nurse as my second and third job. I think we did a lot of good for the world doing what we were doing. I think it was a noble profession and just an overall good egg thing to do. I think it gives us good karma to help other people out whenever we can. Whew, there's a lot of squatting, a lot up and down, but you know, it pays off in the long run when you do this extra work. I've helped a lot of people on this farm. They were drug addicts and alcoholics and had a lot of problems in their lives. Sometimes I feel like I'm pushing a rope, but Like I said, if you can help others along the way that are struggling, you don't never walked in their shoes. You don't know what they've been through. It's just good to help others whenever possible, I always say. Let's see. I think I got just about everything. Maybe I'll throw this over some of these kale. They got hit pretty hard in that 17-degree weather we had. That was brutal, and it killed even the hardiest of plants. Turnips didn't like it, the kale didn't like it, and they're super winter hardy. Whatever you can do to save your investment and make a little more. There's another nice turnip. Some of these others are smaller. I don't want to kill the goose that laid the golden egg here by harvesting little tiny plants. You can see them. They grow this little nodule here, forms into like a above ground turnip. It's what I tell people it's like. Only it's a real sweet, crunchy flavor. Golly, it's hard to explain. But you can eat it raw. You just peel it and eat it. And slice it up, put it in salads, put it in stir fries. It's kind of like a water chestnut. Good flavor to it. Kind of like a broccoli flavor. They're all in the same family. We were going to put that big tarp over everything. There's an old one we had over our wood pile. And it's so heavy. I figured, and it was so dark, I figured it'd start killing the plants, so we decided not to after we lugged it all the way back down here. I think that'll do the trick for a while. Anyway, it's only supposed to get down to 31. But then I'll show you what we do with these. Call it Cardiac Hill. You can go up at 4 and 5 times a day, and it'll wear you out. It's not fun getting old, but I don't like the alternative. As long as I can stay in shape doing this kind of stuff, I think I can keep going for a few more years. Sitting on the tractor and beating myself silly all summer, baling hay. Had to cut that tree out a while back. It died about 3 years ago. Had a beautiful ash over here. And the emerald ash borers got it, killed it, and I had to cut it down. So just trying to trim up lower branches everywhere on some of these bushes and trees and get them out of here. Be putting those in the burn pile over there. That's a form of I think a magnolia tree over there. Got a lot of magnolia trees in the yard. People before us, they got old and they couldn't take care of the property anymore. And when we bought it from them, they just cried. It was so sad, and I understand why they cried. I love this place. I've been all around the country. And I think southern Illinois, down in the Ozark Mountains Hill here, and the Shawnee National Forest is just one of the finest places in the world to live. I don't think I want to trade it for anything. Whew. Alright. Dump all those turnips out. Now I can't find my little brush I had out here. Really? There it is. Hold this in place without having water go down my pants. Last time I did this, it looked like I'd peed myself. But you gotta scrub everything off of this. Get my knife out. Cut all the greens off. All right, we got that all done. I think I'm cold now. My hands are frozen.